Hi, welcome back. So, everybody, as I mentioned to you last time, can you get ready this paper? You can find it from Moodle. Okay, this is a clinic section practice paper 1. All right, to prepare for your EA. Let me explain to you this question paper. So, after going through this, you have some ideas. What is the expectation? What do you need to do? Uh, what kind of sentence structure, what sort of languages you should use, and how does it look like, the EA. All right, are you ready? So get it from Moodle, clinic section, practice paper 1. So as I mentioned to you in the last section, remember, on the 23rd of April, you'll be given part 1 and part 2. Okay, the format will be very similar. Part 1 is always part 1, part 2 is always part 2, but the content is not the same. All right, so I haven't read it yet, so you will get it on the 23rd of April. So for this particular exercise, I use it as an example to illustrate to you how to prepare for your EA. Okay, so part 1 here, I will go through this with you, and then part 2 will also be given to you. In your EA, you need to write a recommended proposal, which covers 2 parts. The first part is how does it work? How do you put forward your proposal? And then the second part, what are the benefits of making use of your proposal? Ready? So let's go through the grammatical structure first. Still remember last time I went through this briefly. So do not use I, do not use we. So if you have some suggestion, what should you use? Look at this. Do not start with I suggest. You should start with it is suggested that, it is recommended that. This is passive voice. All right, I don't care who suggests. This is should be formal. You should use passive voice. It is suggested that. All right, highlight this. It is suggested something should be done. This is passive voice. It is suggested that. Okay, instead of saying I suggest, you should say it is suggested that. After that, you should have SVO. The car can be the car be formally introduced. If you put it into informal English, you may say, I suggest that we should introduce a new car. All right, if you put it into active voice. So let me explain to you what is passive voice. For the passive voice, you should start with the object. I always use the same example. Peter broke the windows. All right, this is the typical SVO sentence structure. Subject, Peter broke, that's the verb. And then window is the object. All right, but sometimes you intentionally we don't want to expose to people who broke the windows. If you want to change it to passive voice, we say the windows. You start with the object were broken. Okay, can you get it? The windows object were participle. Past tense were broken. Past participle. Okay, same sentence structure. The new car be formally introduced. Okay, this is the passive voice. So in your business proposal, you should start always, whenever you want to make suggestion, it is recommended that, and then use passive voice. The new car be formally introduced. Is that clear? And then the other thing you may use is formal introduction of the new car is recommended. Both ways will do, but I suggest you should use this one. It is suggested that the new car be formally introduced. This is the sentence structure number 1 you should use. Do not use I, do not use we. Always start with it is suggested that something should be done. Okay? Second point, when you suggest something to be done, you should use this kind of modal verb. Something should be done. It has to be done. It depends on the tone. If this is a very strong tone, must or has to. Unless I always say that unless it is a very strong suggestion, you should avoid using must or has to. Look at the example here. The company should consider buying a new machine, or the company may lose its competitive edge. Or the company must hire more specialist engineers in order to keep its competitive edge. Must or should. If it's not a very strong suggestion, needs to. All right, the company needs to or ought to. I think should is the most suitable word to use. Yeah, bear this in mind. If you are suggesting something, the company should do something. All right, you may use needs or ought to or can. Yeah, these are the suitable modal verbs that you should use. Okay, pay attention to the modal verbs. All right, and then the other point, you may use conditional sentences. What is conditional sentence? If the company provides co-friendly tea and coffee, what are the benefits? This is a good way for you to explain the benefits. Yeah, if you want Mark 6, you can buy a very beautiful house. Okay, this is a conditional sentence. If, okay, look at the example here. If the company provides eco-friendly tea and coffee, what will be the benefit? Staff members will become healthier. That means the benefit of enjoying tea, eco-friendly tea and coffee is the staff can be healthier, can have better health. All right. The second example, if the staff bring their own coffee cups, fewer disposable cups will be used. This is the benefit. Okay. If they can bring their own, they can prepare their own cups. Less disposable cups will be used. Okay, the other example, the company will benefit if staff members use recycled paper. Okay, this is the benefits. And then the other point I want to go through with you, you should pay attention to the linking words. What the linking words? Basically, there are two types. But here we want to talk about the causal relationship. I always use the same example. I am absent from school today because I am sick. All right, this is a causal relationship. You are absent from school today. Why? Because you are sick. Okay, but as I mentioned to you just now, this is formal writing. You cannot use I. You should say something like this. The school began promoting energy saving habits. What's the result? As a result, the total electricity consumption decreased. All right, you're showing a causal relationship. You can use as a result. Or the unemployment rates decreased because of the provision of unemployment retraining courses. So still remember, I think I did explain to you what's the difference between because and because of. So for a typical sentence with because, you should always have SVO, subject, I am sick, okay, or because of my sickness. So if you're not familiar with because of, so forget it. Okay, this is the difference between because and because of. All right, so because of something, a noun without subject and without verb, because of the provision of employment retraining courses. Or you may use the word as. Has the same meaning as because. Look at an example here. Scheme $16,000 is more effective in soothing the pressure of inflation as it allows an immediate cash injection. All right. So after using the word as or because, you should have the subject, verb, and object. It is a subject. Allows is the verb. And immediate cash injection, that's the object. Okay. Another example, the Child Development Fund implements a personal development plan for children from a disadvantaged background. So what is the effect? So you may use similar example. I am sick, so I'm absent from school. So I just want to show you how to elaborate by showing the causal relationship by using because, as a result, etc. But remember, whenever you use all these words, pay attention to the sentence structure. After using because, you must have the subject verb. Yeah, because it allows immediate cash injection. All right. And then when you write your proposal, you may use these useful words. In addition, the linking words. Furthermore, moreover, all right, in order to, that's the purpose. So as to do something. I worked hard in order to pass the examination. You may use the word in order to. For instance means for example. Okay, these are the useful linking words for you to use in your EA. And then for the conclusion, if you want to draw some conclusion, this is something very useful. You can always copy from it. With all these benefits in mind, it is hoped that the management will find the proposal highly convincing and useful to the company and the public. This is a very general sentence that you can always use when you do your EA, all right, to draw a conclusion. Or it is hoped that the management will find the proposal exceptionally beneficial to the company, all right? These are the useful sentences you can use in your EA. So let's move back to the question here. So what is part one? All right. In this particular example, you may read your EA later, but let me use this example to explain how to attempt the EA. So this is part one. Part one is what? Part one is the introduction. Okay, this is the introduction. So you are given the background. So what is this? The good thing is that you can work with you can put it in front of you part one and part B. Unlike your examination, you have to memorize a lot of information. You have to make reference to it without looking at the paper. But for your EA, which is a take-home exercise, you can always put it with you side by side. All right. So when you do your EA, you can refer to it. So for your EA, you need to write around 300 to 350 words. All right, to explain to do your recommended proposal. So what is the background? For this particular exercise, the aim of this proposal is to recommend a feasible plan to reduce electricity charges of the property Greenview Gardens. That's the purpose of writing the proposal. You want to work out how to reduce the electricity charges for the company. Okay, that means your company is facing a problem of having what? High electricity consumption. The bill is very high. You need to, the purpose of writing this proposal is to think about the feasible ways. What are the ways that can reduce the electricity consumption of the company? Is that clear? So on the right hand side, you are given some notes here to help you understand the question. Okay, what is the aim of the proposal? The aim proposal is to reduce electricity charges. Okay, and then the second point, what is the problem here? The background here, we can go through this in a few minutes. Residents are concerned about the increase in the management fee. Yeah, due to increasing electricity consumption, the management fee correspondingly has to be raised. All right, that's the issue, that's the background. So let's go through the background in detail. Trustguard has been managing Greenview Gardens for almost 10 years. Since 2013, the management fee has been increased sharply. There is an increase of 5% each year. That's a lot of money. All right. You have to think about the way. What is the problem? Due to sharp increase in electricity consumption. Yeah. Everybody do not want to have sharp increase in the management fee. That's why you want to come up with the proposal how to reduce the electricity consumption. So they have concerns about the management fee. Over 80% of the respondents believe that the trust guard is not doing enough. Yeah, they're not happy with it. Over 80% of the respondents believe that it's not good enough. That's why you have to come up with the proposal. So let's look at the small word here. So the situation is the management fee has been increased sharply. by over 5% yearly. All right, and they are not satisfied. This is the background. That's why you have to come out with the business proposal, how to solve the problem. What is the consequence? Uh, you believe that after making the proposal, people this factors this satisfaction rate will be decreased. People will be more happy with it. So what is the problem here? There is a pressing need, urgent need for the company to come up with measures. So after understanding the background, you should have a better way to make your business proposal. Okay, and then so after doing some research, you found that there are three possible ways to improve to reduce the electricity consumptions. There are three ways. And in this part one, you're given three solutions. The first one is to use solar panels to provide an alternative source. And the second one, you suggest installing the motion sensors. And the third one is to maintain the indoor temperature at 25.5%. Sorry, 25.5 degrees. All right. So these are the three possible ways to reduce the electricity consumption. Okay. So in the initial proposals, you're given some explanation. So why are you putting this? This part is very important to you. So when you write your business proposal, you should base on the initial details here. The first one. So how does using solar panels reduce the electricity consumption? Look at the details here. Solar energy systems capture free sunlight. Yeah, it can convert it into usable power. That's why you can save the electricity cost. All right. Uh, the study shows that, yeah, this is the study, formal study, shows that solar panels could help reduce electricity charges by 25% eventually. Okay, what are the benefits? The benefit is could easily become a signature event of the estate. All right, the first point, the first benefit is that it can reduce electricity consumption by 25%. The second point is that this kind of project could easily become a signature event of the estate and raise its property value. These are the second point. These are the benefits. The second point, second benefits of using solar panel. Okay, so let's take a look at the small notes here highlighted for you. This is the summary. This is very useful for you. Two benefits. Simply reduction in electricity charges. And the second point is that it can raise the property value. Okay. Okay, so let me sum up. The first possible solution to save the electricity consumption of the company is that you can use solar panels. The second one is you may use motion sensors on lighting systems. So what are motion sensors? Yeah, here is the explanation. A motion sensor is a device that detects movement objects, particularly people. All right, that means something will not be turned on unless it can detect some motions to make it simple. All right, so how does it reduce electricity consumption? Installation of motion sensors can activate the lighting system in a particular way, a particular area. All right, this is an effective way to reduce electricity charges. All right, the cost of sensors and maintenance is comparatively low. All right, so this is feasible. Okay, so what are the benefits? Okay, it's more stable than solar energy. for the concerns about this one, the setup cost is rather high. Sorry, I missed this one. There are pros and cons. For solar panels, the benefits is that it can reduce electricity consumption, but on the other hand, it's not very stable because we not always have sunshine. So what happens if there's no sunshine? And then what are the possible problems? The setup cost is very high. It's very costly to build the solar panels. Okay, so when you talk about the benefit, when you do the investigation, you have to talk about pros and cons. There's nothing is perfect in this world. All right, for the solar panels, the benefit is that you can save the electricity consumption. And on the other hand, it's not very stable because we cannot expect to have sunshine every single day, and also the setup cost is relatively high. So what are the possible problem on using motion sensor? So basically, when you see the word on the other hand, that means you're talking about the negative side. Okay, so it may switch off the lights if people using the room do not move for a period. This may cause inconvenience. All right, it becomes dark if nobody is walking through the area. All right, this is not convenient to all the other customers or residents. I mean, and then uh, installation of the sensor is rather noisy. All right, these are the possible problems. So for every single solution, you should talk about pros and cons. So let me ask you the question: why do we have to cover both sides? Can you imagine the answer? So if you're suggesting something, why don't you just talk about the positive side? Why do you still have to talk about the negative side? Anybody? So let me talk to you. Let me explain this to you. So for in the real situation, nothing, there is no perfect solution in this world. So to make it more objective, to make it more professional, for every single solution, you should cover both the positive and negative side in order to make your argument more persuasive. Yeah, if you're just telling me 100% we should put forward the solar panel solution, people may challenge you. What happens if we have thunderstorm, we have rainy days? What can we do? They will be, that means your argument is not feasible. All right. So remember, for every kind of business proposal, we should cover both sides to make it more comprehensive. All right. Okay. What about the third solution? The third possible solution is that we should adjust the temperature. All right. You can save electricity by adjusting the temperature, the room temperature, adjusting the temperature to 25.5%. All right, this is the best way to save electricity. All right, this is the very direct way. You need to do very little thing on it, but you can save money directly. But what will be the possible problem? People will challenge, may complain that, oh, during the hot weather, the temperature may change outside. Yeah, if the temperature goes up to, for example, 34 degrees, 33 degrees, the people working indoor may find it very uncomfortable. All right, especially for the weather in Hong Kong, that may affect people's morale. The spirit, morale means the spirit, the working spirit of the staff. They will not find it comfortable when they work in such kind of hot weather. Okay, so this is part one. This is part one of your business proposal. So based on this, you can write your recommended proposal. So part one has been given to you. So let me summarize some of the background again. So the background of this proposal is that there is an increase in the cost of electricity consumption. So as the management of the company, you have to think about different ways to reduce the electricity consumption. So after doing the research, you found that three possible solutions. The first one is to use solar panels, and then the second one is to install motion sensors, and the third one is to adjust the indoor temperature to 25.5 degrees. So for each of these solutions, the pros and cons The advantages and disadvantages of using them have been evaluated. Okay, this is part one. So part two, um, in the case of the face-to-face, yay. So you don't have to go through this. You're so lucky. This will be given to you. This is part two. For the part two, what is it about? The part two is to expose to you which one would you choose. All right. So part two is very important. Out of the three solutions, which one would you like to choose? So when you look at the question paper, you have to go through this. That you have to look at it very carefully. Which one will you choose? Not for you to choose. Which one you need to support? Which one will you use? Okay, look at the part two. Let me tell you. Let me explain to you how to read the part two. Part two is the investigation conclusion. So you have to tell people which one will you choose. Look at this. The last part. The proposal of using solar panel is the most advisable and effective option. Look at this. So which one will you choose? All depends on this part two. If the part two said choosing adjusting the temperature to 25.5 degrees, you have to write on it. If it says so look at it, part two. Look at the question paper carefully. Which one will you choose? They will choose the solar panels. So everything here are the pros and cons of using solar panel. Listen carefully, everybody. If you get it wrong, there's no chance for you to pass. Is that clear to everybody? So part two is very important. So the recommended proposal is based on this part two. If this part two said you choose which one you have to follow, you must follow. Let me make it clear. You cannot choose any other options, only this one. Okay? And this part two, you will be given some basic points here. So the good thing about your EA is that you don't have to think about too much of new points by yourself. You are given some bullet points here. You only need to look at it, digest, and then write it on your own by explaining the causal relationship. Basically, I haven't read your EA paper yet, but basically, most of the points will be given to you. So you have to understand it before you write anything. So, based on this part two, you need to support the idea of using solar panels. What are the benefits? It is the relatively setup cost. Sorry, what are the pros? Here there are 2 points. For the residents, this is a signature event. Yeah, you got this point already. Signature event. What is a signature event? That means signature. That's some kind of milestone for your company. Signature. Yeah, it's a symbol for your company. Some good symbol of your company, signature event. It can increase the property value. If people hear that your property will have solar panel to reduce electricity cost, that may be something important for your company, and that may increase your property value. This is point number one, the benefits of using solar panel. The second point for the company, you may say that if the project is successful, it can increase your company reputation. So you should learn how to read all these symbols. If with the arrow pointing horizontally, that could be the causal relationship. With the arrow pointing up, that means it can increase or enhance something. All right. With the arrow pointing down, there will be the opposite meaning. That means decrease, reduce, etc. All right. And then the second point, it can with the arrow with a tick here, you have to understand it by yourself. Relationship between company and residents. It can improve the relationship between company and residents. Okay. So you need to elaborate on yourself by yourself. So after installing the solar panel, how can it improve the relationship between company and residents? Okay, so I think for this kind of explanation, you can just use common sense. We do not expect to think about too complicated reasons. All right, think about it by using common sense. Let's go through this in a few minutes. So think about it. For every single solution you make, you have to talk about the benefits based on the points given here. And then sometimes you have to do your own elaboration. You have to explain it by yourself by using logical thinking and common sense. And then the second part, listen carefully. Uh, okay, so let's go back here. So when you write your recommended proposal, you have to tell people what kind of criteria are you based on. Yeah. So when you choose something, you have to think about what are the criteria. All right. You have to think. So for this particular issue, you think about the effectiveness and also uh, practicality. Okay. Does it work? This is the one. Remember, this is the one pointing here. That means this is the solution you should choose. So after talking about, then you have to explain to people how to implement this. Yeah, you just cannot say something. Oh, okay, I want to do it. How does it work? How to do it? How to implement this? You have to put this in detail. You have to explain this in detail in your proposal. You're given some points here. The setup cost, the initial setup cost is around $200,000, and then the panel need to be set up within 1 year. All right, this is a plan for you. You have to put it in detail. Otherwise, how can you put forward this one? So whenever you suggest something, you should tell people in detail how do you suggest this? How to implement this? How do you put this into practice? All right, and then as I mentioned to you just now, uh, there are benefits. Should you talk about the negative side? Yes, absolutely. All right. So for your recommended proposal, you have to explain to people clearly why you choose this one by giving by explaining the election selection consideration. All right. And then you should tell people how to put it into practice, how to implement this, and then you should tell people what are the benefits of doing this. At the same time, on the other hand, you have to talk about the possible problem and how to solve the possible problem. You cannot just tell people that, oh, okay, solar panel is not stable, then you forget it. No, all right. Remember, or your argument should cover both sides. So on the one hand, you should cover all the positive sides. Ah, these are the benefits of using it. On the other hand, there may be possible problem. Here are the solutions to tackle the problems. All right, this is how you should structure your proposal. So what are the possible problem? It may be find effective way. That means sometimes you see relative high. You see the relative setup cost is rather high. The stability. That means it's not stable. Yeah, this is the possible problem. What is the solution? All right, you need to store the excess electricity. You should save it when there's sunshine. All right. So how to address the negative side? You should cover all these measures to address concerns. The first point: select appropriate solar panels so that to reduce the lower setup cost and enhance efficiency. That means once you have decided, once you are recommending to do the solar panel, you should think about the cost. You should select the panels carefully in order to reduce the setup cost. All right, in order to increase efficiency. First point. So solar panel selection is very important for setting up the whole project. Okay. The second point, to address the problem of low stability, you can arrange residents to visit similar projects. Yeah. This is not something world first. So you're recommending somebody to do some kind of research, to do some visit, so that you can ease some kind of concerns. Yeah. If you can see some successful example that may solve some kind of concerns, save some problems of the possible setup. All right, you arrange that. So in your business proposal, you have to cover the measures, how to address the negative side. The first one is the cost is rather high. What's the solution? You will suggest lowering, you will do some selection on a lower cost solar panel. First point. And the second point, people may have concern about the low stability. You are suggesting that we can arrange some kind of visit to show you it could be successful in some other areas so that it can reduce people's concerns about the problem. All right, these are the 2 points. So you have to talk about the positive side and also for the negative side. You should think about the possible solutions, how to solve the problem. Okay, so this is the part two. So on your EA, you need to write your business proposal based on this part two. All right. So what do you need to write exactly? This is the possible feedback. All right. So for the first sentence, you can always copy this. Based on the investor conclusion, it is recommended that. So from at the very beginning, you should tell people which ones you choose. It is not your option. You should base on part two. This is the one. So you should write on solar panel, okay, setting. So you may write something like this. Let's take a look at the languages. So based on the investigation conclusion, it is recommended that the proposal of using solar panels be selected. So you can copy the sentence structure. So depending on the question, is recommended the proposal of building a school to be selected, something like this. So you have to uh, based on the question, but the sentence structure you can learn from it. So you should have to tell people why do you choose one. Among the three options, this one is the most feasible option. Explanation. Okay, you're given some points here. Okay, based on effectiveness and also practicality. Here, because of its high effectiveness and practicality. All right, based on these two options. So in your EA, you should write in detail how to put this in practice. Here is the write-up. To implement the recommended proposal, Hong Kong $200,000 will be budgeted to set up the system. In addition, the system will be set up within 1 year. Where do you get it? From here. Still remember? This part is about implementation. So when you write up your business proposal, you have to refer to this part too. So this part two is very, very, very important. Okay? And then the next part, you should make recommendation how to make it more effective. All right, look at the example here. In order to make the proposal more convincing, finding effective ways of storing this excessive electricity generated when there is sufficient sunlight should be considered. Where do you get it? From here. Okay, this part. When you talk about implementation, you should talk about, oh, here is the setup cost, here is the duration, and then you should tell people how to make it more effective. The way is to store the electricity whenever possible. All right, this part. And then you have to tell people why is it good. Yeah. Besides, this would be very important to respond to residents' concerns about the cost of using solar panels. Where they get this part, you get this from part one. Remember, the residents were not happy about the increase in the management fee. Remember? So you should address to part one. Selecting appropriate solar panels would be an effective way to lower the setup cost and enhance their efficiency. All right, this is a little bit about the background. And then you have to uh, talk about the specific measures. As reviewed in the investigation, this proposal may not promise stable electricity supply during rainy days. However, you should talk about the problem. The issue could be easily addressed. You should address to the concerns. Site visits to you talk about this part. Here, you talk about the positive problem first. Yeah, may not promise stable electricity supply during rainy days. However, these are the suggestion how to address to the concerns. However, this issue could be easily addressed. Site visits to similar projects should be arranged for the residents so that they will understand further about the actual benefits of the project. This would then ease their concerns about the stability of electricity supply. You are talking about the possible solution to address to the possible problems. All right. And then here, you should focus on all the key benefits of using it. That means you start with the something negative first. Yeah. Negative solution for the negative side, and then you focus on all the positive sides. Okay. Then point number one, which is here. All right. Talk about one by one. Point number one, pros for residents. How can you address to it? You may say, you may add the subject, add the heading. Okay. Adding property value. For the heading, you can use a noun phrase. Adding property value. Using solar panel is not common in Hong Kong. Yeah. This is, you talk about the background a little bit. This kind of project will be recognized as a signature event of the estate. Yeah. The background is that it's not common. That's why it could be a signature event, right? Thus, the property value of the estate could be substantially raised. Yeah, this is point number one. Okay, what about the benefit to the company? This is the headline. Remember, for the headline, you can use a noun phrase. What is a noun phrase? You think about the verb and then use ing this noun phrase. It can add value to the property value. Yeah, you will change it to adding property value. Yeah, and then the second point, you get it from here. You just change it to noun phrase. The first point, remember, increase company reputation, increase adding property value, enhancing company reputation. You got it from here. You just change it to noun phrase to make it the heading. And then the second part, you have to explain it in detail. Building company reputation. Using solar panels would be seen as making contribution to environmental protection. Thus, successful implementation of the project will help to build a possible image for the company and raise its reputation. You don't need to write too much. You have to explain it. How does building the solar panel build up the company image or build up the company reputation? You have to explain this like this. And then the other point, it can enhance the relationship between company and residents. Then you change it to a noun phrase. Enhancing relationship between company and residents. Yeah, then you say, in addition, by actively exploring ways to lower the electricity charges, the company's effort to put the residents first will be appreciated. Consequently, the relationship between the company and the resident could be effectively enhanced. Yeah, remember, this is up to you how to write up by using common sense. All right, this is just a suggested answer. So there is no absolute answer to this. So you can write up your own by using your judgment. Okay, and then finally, overall, among the three proposed ways of reducing electricity charges of Greenview Gardens, the installation of solar panel is the best option. So you have to draw a little bit conclusion by summing up the key ideas. With all the above benefits, you can always use this, just copy from it. With all the above benefits in mind, it is hoped that the proposal will be accepted. Okay, that's it. So everybody, this is the write-up. This is what we expect from you in your EA. Exactly 1 page, something like this, 1 or 2 pages. All right. You start with the recommendation. Which one will you suggest? Using solar panels. Okay. And then you should talk about the implementation. How to do it step by step. How much is the money? How long does it take? How to make it more effective? All right. How to reduce the cost and how to enhance the efficiency. And then what can be done? You should uh, arrange some visits, right? Yeah, talk about it one by one. That's it. So I want you to take a look at this, and then next Friday, I will explain. I will use another example to explain to you how to attempt the EA. And then I want you to do some other practice paper without looking at the answer. You can do it by yourself. And then you can submit your practice paper to me. I don't mind marking it for you and then give you some feedback and comments. before you get your EA on the 23rd of April. So I'll see you soon and talk to you later. So don't hesitate to tell me if you have any question. Okay? Bye.